And the series record. Overall, Tennessee leads 19-2 with 2 ending in ties. Tennessee's won 12 straight in this series, which means Fulmer is undefeated against South Carolina. The weather tonight, as we said, is just ideal. Temperature is 55, low humidity, and the wind is very, very light. Will not be a factor at all, and there's no chance of rain. Clear skies all over East Tennessee. Well, Steve Spurrier, after a great career in Florida and then a not-so-great career in the NFL, has returned to the Southeastern Conference, and I think everybody's happy about that because he brings a flair to this league and a style that a lot of people, even though they might not like playing against him, they do like him personally, Mike.
Well, they certainly do. I think college football as a whole was missing a little bit of something without Steve Spurrier. And of course, that man right there, also a fine coach. In fact, we're looking at 2 of the top coaches in SEC history in terms of winning percentage. South
Carolina won the toss and elected to receive, as most teams in this day and age seem to defer. But of course, Steve Spurrier, being the offensive mind that he is, wants to put his O on the field first. And without Seville Newton, what kind of game do you expect from Spurrier tonight, Mike?
Well, with the absence of a strong running game and playing against a team that knows how to stop run as well as the pass Tennessee, I really think South Carolina's going to try to air it out a bit tonight. I don't think they're going to be able to run very well against the Volunteers. They're going to need a big performance out of Blake Mitchell. He played well on the road at Georgia earlier in the year, and this is another tough environment for a redshirt sophomore.
James Wilhoit will be kicking off. Youngster from Hendersonville, Tennessee. He's done an outstanding job for Tennessee. Whiteside is back there along with Joseph. And Wilhoit gets all of it, every bit of it, out of the end zone. South Carolina will put it in play at the 20-yard line, first down and 10. Those are the kickoffs that coaches love. No chance for a return. Neighboring states, a lot of people, of course, acquainted with each other from Tennessee and from South Carolina. Tennessee recruits heavily in the state of South Carolina. In fact, they have 7 guys on their team right now from that state. And they've had some great ones down through the years. Johnny Chavis, the defensive coordinator, hails from South Carolina. Mitchell under with the receiver set left. It's a man in motion. Back to the I backfield set. Off to a tailback. 25-yard line. Almost a 5-yard gain. Let's take a look at the South Carolina offense right now. Levy, St. Croix, Chris White, Coleman, and Goddard are your men up front. The men in the trenches. Mitchell is your quarterback, along with Davis at tailback. And then Thurman, Clark, Rice, and Atkins Askins winds out the starting lineup for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Steve Spurrier, minus the visor, we're playing tonight. In the shotgun. Mitchell throws in the flat. Pass is complete and knocked down shy of the 30-yard line, shy of a first down, is Bobby Wallace. Take a look at the Tennessee defense, and it has been outstanding this year. And Paris Harrelson has led the way, along with Justin Harrell, playing with a big cast on his hand, which we'll see tonight. Jesse Mahalona and Jason Hall are the men up front. Gaither, Simon Mitchell, solid at linebacker. And in the secondary, Jonathan Wade with a couple of big interceptions this year. Jonathan Hefney, who is from South Carolina, by the way. Antoine Stewart, and that's your starting lineup for Tennessee. So here comes a third down, and they need about 2 for a first down. Mitchell going to throw. He's got a world of time. Still got time. He's going to be knocked out of bounds hard and shy of a first down. Hit by Jason Mitchell, the weak side linebacker, who was covering ground rather fast.
Hey, you take a look, Blake Mitchell, like you say, plenty of time. He's not known to be a scrambler, but he can run some, and I think that's actually a wise move. He's got nothing open. The last thing you want to do is take a sack.
Josh Brown will be in punt formation, and they do a rather dramatic shift out here. Standing back is Lucas Taylor, a freshman. And he kicks it on the run. There's a couple of teams in the NFL here right now, and it takes a good roll. Kind of hard to handle that situation. Rolls down to the 25-yard line. Good punt. And so Tennessee will put it in play there. It's 47 yards on the kick. Now, they retired Peyton Manning's number here tonight, a very emotional night. And he wore number 16, of course, which is what Rick Clausen has been wearing. But he said he just didn't feel comfortable wearing 16 tonight. So he has chosen his brother's old number 7. He may wear 16 the rest of the year, but not tonight. Chris Hannon and Jason Swain are the wideouts this trip down for Tennessee. First down and 10 to go. The Vols get their first chance to go on offense. And the handoff is to Foster. Foster dives ahead for not much. Let's take a look at the Tennessee offense. Sears, Smith, Gandy, Douglas, and Tawina are the big guys up front. Clausen, Arian Foster, the redshirt freshman, along with Corey Anderson at fullback, Chris Hannon, Robert Meacham, and Chris Brown, although I think Swain did get the start here tonight. Swain has had a couple of real good games, played extremely well against Alabama in the last outing. C.J. Payton is also in the lineup right now at receiver. The handoff again to Foster, and Foster finds a stone wall there. Only got a yard at the most, and he's hit by Lance Lowry and a host of Gamecocks.
Well, Bob, this is something significant. You know, South Carolina's really struggled to stop the run all year long. Tennessee in years past has really been able to run on these guys as you take a look at Carolina's defense.
Lindsey Tucker, Dowdy, and Lambert are the men up front. Linebackers are Lowry, Lindsey, and West. And the secondary, Bennett, Co Simpson, who's very solid, Tyler, and Joseph. They go into the shotgun this time. Left-hander looks and looks and looks. Now he's going to have to run, and he's not going to make it to the first down marker. He's going to be about a yard. He actually stumbled, or he might have made it. He probably would have made it, but he fell a yard shy of a first down.
And you're going to see here, Carolina only rushes 3, so Clausen knows he's got plenty of time to look downfield, but you got 8 guys back in coverage. Again, does just what Blake Mitchell did on the last drive, tucks it and runs, but lost his footing shy of the marker.
Brenton Colquitt, the freshman, kicks, and he kicks a nice one. Fair catch is called for, and Carolina will put it in play on about the 23-yard line. Punt is good for 43 yards. Colquitt, by the way, is the 4th Colquitt to play at the University of Tennessee, and he will be the last one for a while until some of the youngsters come along. South Carolina, Tennessee scoreless here on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Back here in Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, South Carolina goes on offense. Neither team able to do anything with their first possession. Mitchell hands off, and this is a nice play this time. They come out across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. Mike Davis out of tailback picks up 8 yards, and Omar Gaither is the man who knocked him down.
You're going to see some good running here by the freshman Mike Davis. You're talking about a true freshman here, and he gets some good blocks from the interior of that South Carolina line. Look at the hole up here. It's Chris White, the center. You got St. Pro and Thomas Coleman starting his second straight game, opening up a nice lane for Mike Davis.
So it becomes now a 2-yard situation for a first down. They throw it in the flat. They got the first down by a yard, 2 yards, and Sidney Rice is knocked out of bounds. The redshirt freshman that Mike talked about in our pregame show tonight, Jonathan Wade, was in on the tackle defensively for Tennessee.
Those 9 touchdowns and that 16.3 average lead the Southeastern Conference. And he's got a chance to do all kinds of great things in this offense. Blake Mitchell, the quick hitter. You got to respect Rice's speed for the big play, so he's going to get some room. They might play some soft coverage from time to time in that secondary.
Ball is on the 37-yard line. First down and 10 to go. Mitchell back, wants to throw, does throw, and the ball's almost intercepted. Inky Johnson, a freshman out there, came very close to picking that one off.
Bob, this is one of the things that Coach Spurrier talked about earlier in the week that Blake Mitchell has to work on. Watch his eyes. He's going to zone in on a target. He telegraphs this pass from the start. Everybody in the stadium knows it's going to Sidney Rice, including the Tennessee secondary. He's got to do a better job of not telegraphing the throw.
There he is, Inky Johnson. First career start last week against Alabama. But they talked about him a great deal, did in the preseason. So a lot is expected of him down the line. It becomes second down and 10 to go for the Gamecocks now on the 37-yard line. Mitchell hands off to his tailback, and there's nothing there. Flag on the play, though. So let's hold everything. Mike Davis knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
Before the ball was snapped, delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
A good time to identify that man. The referee tonight is Jeff Robertson, heading up the Southeastern Conference crew here tonight in Knoxville. No score in this ball game. We're in the first quarter. South Carolina and Tennessee both kind of, I guess you could say, feeling each other out, and neither team able to do a whole lot so far. Tennessee unable to do anything in their first possession. South Carolina has picked up a first down now. They're looking at a 2nd and 15 right now, and timeout is going to be called, and this one will be charged to the Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee, first timeout of the first half.
10 minutes and 18 seconds to go in this first quarter of play. There is no score here in Knoxville between South Carolina and Tennessee. You're watching CSS, your source for sports throughout the Southeast. Back here in Knoxville at sold-out Neyland Stadium, South Carolina and Tennessee. South Carolina looking at a second down and about 15 to go for a first. Swing pass out to the right, and pretty good yardage up across the 40 to the 42, shy of a first down, but still a sizable gain for Mike Davis. A swing out of the backfield, trying to turn the corner on Tennessee. Jonathan Hefney made the stop for Tennessee, but not until he had landed at the 42-yard line. So that brings up now, after a 10-yard pickup, about 5 yards to go for a first. 3rd down and 5. And Mitchell's numbers on the season. He stepped in and done a pretty good job for Steve Spurrier. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Mitchell may be changing the play right here, seems to be. And we'll see a lot of checkoffs tonight and on both sides. Mitchell got time, throws, got hit short of the first down by a yard.
Well, Bob, what do you think? Steve Spurrier's got the reputation of being a riverboat gambler. Ordinarily, you'd never do at this stage in the game in your own territory, and he is going to elect to punt. You never know with Spurrier.
Pass was to Chris Clark. Omar Gaither made the stop, so it will be now a punting situation, and dropping back will be Lucas Taylor. There's a good shot of Steve Spurrier on the sidelines. Josh Brown will stand at about his 33-yard line. Lucas Taylor standing back on the 10. And he makes that step to the right and kicks on the run. And it again is very hard to handle. That's a good weapon for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Has been so far here tonight on 2 punts. This one covered 42 yards and no chance for a return, which is the important factor. So Tennessee will go back on offense right now, unable to do anything in their first possession, 3 and out. Gerald Riggs gone for the year. They've lost their top offensive threat and their top defensive man, of course. Jason Allen is out for the year. Great defensive cornerback for Tennessee. But at this stage of the season, most every team in the country can point to somebody they have lost due to injury. It's a rough game. Here's a long out pass. It is intercepted. Jonathan Joseph made a great break on the ball and came up with a tremendous interception. An ill-advised throw by Clausen.
Jonathan Joseph, one of 3 defensive backs from Rock Hill, South Carolina in this game. Just reads that all the way, makes a great break on the ball. He's the fastest player on this Gamecock defense. Runs a 4.34. Nice hands, too, to complete the pick.
Wow. Jason Swain was the intended receiver, but he didn't have a chance as the defender cut in front of him and made the interception. And so on the 19-yard line, the Gamecocks go to work. First down and 10 to go. Mitchell hands off to fakes to his tailback and throws in the end zone. It's broken up. Incomplete. As he went for all the marbles, headed for Carlos Thomas, and Inky Johnson was the man there again defensively. Let's take another look, Mike.
This is a dangerous pass. You got play action, but you've only got one receiver going out in coverage and two orange jerseys right there. I mean, it's a pretty ball, but you're going to have to really thread the needle to complete that pass. Tennessee doing a nice job reading the play call all the way.
Jonathan Hepney and Inky Johnson right on top of that one defensively for Tennessee. In the red zone, there's the story. And we're definitely in the red zone. Here's Mitchell back. Being chased. Throws it up for grabs, and it's incomplete. Tennessee defended that one quite well. Intended for Sidney Rice. Jonathan Wade, the world-class sprinter for Tennessee, broke it up.
You're going to see a lot of these type passes. If Blake Mitchell's in trouble, rather than take the sack, if he's got Rice one-on-one coverage, throw a jump ball. The worst thing that's going to happen is it's going to be incomplete. Rice goes 6 feet 4 inches tall. He's a basketball standout coming out of high school. He can out-leap anybody. So you're not going to out-jump Sidney Rice for a ball like that if you're Wade.
All right, here comes a big one. 3rd down and 10 to go. South Carolina sitting on the 19-yard line of Tennessee. Mitchell throwing for the end zone. Got his man there. Touchdown, Sidney Rice. Right on the money. Tennessee lost him cutting across the checkerboard, and Rice took it in on a perfect throw from Mitchell. That's the first pass that Tennessee has given up, a touchdown pass in Southeastern Conference play this entire season.
And that is an amazing 7 consecutive games that Rice has caught a touchdown pass as he adds to the school record.
Brown's point after is up, and it's good, and South Carolina breaks on top thanks to a big interception that set the ball up on the Tennessee 19-yard line. Mitchell hitting Rice on a 3rd down call in the end zone for the touchdown. Well, Spurrier strikes first here at Neyland Stadium tonight with a touchdown of 19 yards from Mitchell to Rice. And there's the scoring drive. 3 plays, 19 yards. Consumed only 24 seconds. That's what the old ball coach likes, I'm sure. Ryan Sutton will kick off. Lucas Taylor is standing deep and will gather it in at about the 7-yard line. Across the 10, up to the sideline, and finally swarmed under shy of the 30-yard line. Tennessee now goes on offense after a 20-yard return by Lucas Taylor. And we're trying to figure out who's going to come out here at quarterback, and I think it's going to be Eric Ainge, number 10. Crossing through that interception that set up the South Carolina touchdown. See, I'm still got Steve Spurrier at Florida there. Huh?
Yeah, I tell you, I'm a little surprised they're switching this early, Bob. I thought they'd give Clausen more of a go at it.
Not after that mistake. Here's the run up the middle, and it's Arian Foster making a nice little burst. Tell you what, this guy hits the hole really, really well. And as time goes on and he learns to pick out those blockers a little bit better, he's going to be, I think, a really outstanding tailback at Tennessee.
Yeah, he looks a little more shifty, as you can see there, than Riggs does. Riggs, a bigger back, a more powerful guy,
yeah.
But this guy could be a good one in time.
Flag's going to stop this play. Maybe motion on Tennessee, but we'll have to wait and see. It's a crisp night, not overly cold,
Before the
though.
ball was snapped. Ball start. Offense, number 28. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Another one of those killer mistakes that Tennessee's offense has made repeatedly this year. There have actually been a game or two when they had back-to-back motion penalties. It all comes down to discipline, and that shows a lack of it right there. So it brings up a 2nd down now at about 9 situation for Tennessee and for Eric Ainge. Ainge rolls to his right. He's got a rifle, and he puts it in play, and it's complete to Robert Meacham. Nice play by both Meacham and Ainge. Good route by Meacham and an excellent throw by Eric Ainge.
Oh, excellent throw is right. This is a timing pattern. The ball's going to be out of Ainge's hands before Meacham even makes his break, and it is right on the money. Not much Jonathan Joseph could do there to stop that one. That's just a beautiful, beautiful passing catch by Tennessee.
All up to the 42-yard line where it becomes first down and 10 for Ainge and company. And Ainge may be checking off, and Spurrier's staff's going to show him an awful lot, I'm sure. He's relatively inexperienced, as we all know, so they'll show him a lot on defense. He fires it out in the flat, and it's complete to Robert Meacham once again. Meacham out of Oklahoma came into Tennessee with very high credentials. He was an all-state basketball player in addition to being an all-state football player. Recruited by a lot of schools, but chose Tennessee.
Just a hitch route, a little sit-down route there in front of Fred Bennett, who had a terrible time in coverage last week.
Second down and 5, and they hand it off to the tailback, and he's got good yardage into Carolina territory. Arian Foster all the way down to the 45-yard line.
This is Carolina's biggest fear. If Tennessee starts dominating the line and opening up holes for Foster, that takes the pressure off the quarterback, no matter who it is for Tennessee. Again, it's a good run, but watch, you're going to see kind of a trap play there, and the holes are just too large to stop Foster from getting a big run there.
First quarter of play, Carolina leading 7-0. Tennessee moving a little bit with the football right here down to about the 43-yard line. Coach Simpson made the stop of Arian Foster this time.
Yeah, I really believe when you run wide, you're doing Carolina's defense a favor. They can run with anybody. They're just not real big and strong and up the middle. But you can see, he's running laterally, and that gives that Carolina speed a chance to catch up to him.
I think, Mike, that very few teams in the SEC can run wide.
That's
we
true.
have so much speed in this conference.
Very true.
Here's a timing pattern, just a shade off to Chris Hannon. Breaking down the sidelines, and Ainge trying to lob it into him about a foot too far. But still, not a bad call.
It's got to be a little bit awkward there for Clausen to now help his quarterback mate from the sideline. Ainge upset. He knows that he had his guy, just overshot him.
Well, it brings up a big down for Tennessee, 3rd and 8. Finally getting a little offense going right here, but it could die unless they can pick up at least 8 yards on this play. There's Ainge throwing in the flat. It's going to be a first down and a lot more. All the way down the sidelines and out of bounds inside the 20 goes David Holbert, the fullback. Tyler finally brought him down from cornerback position, but a great play that time by the big youngster from Nashville, Tennessee, David Holbert.
Holbert gets wide open in the flat, and then Mike West just airmails the tackling attempt with a dive there, allowing Holbert some extra yardage.
That was a 3rd and 8, so it was a huge play. There's a run off the right side as they slide outside right tackle with Arian Foster, and he goes almost to the 10-yard line before he is dropped around the 11-yard line. So this youngster filling in tonight for Gerald Riggs is looking very good so far in this game.
They had 14 carries against Alabama last week, and so he's got some of the nerves out of his systems. He's done it now in a couple of big games, and give him time, he'll probably join the long list of great Tennessee backs.
This time he weaves in and out of traffic and finally gets enough for a first down before Mike West, outside linebacker, drops him, but it's going to be a first and goal situation for Tennessee.
It's another case, Tennessee winning the battle on the line. This is something I think we're going to see a lot of. Tennessee trying to run it right down the throat of that Carolina defense, particularly undersized in the middle with those defensive tackles.
First and goal at the 6-yard line. Eric Ainge is the quarterback. So far he's looked very good. Did not start. Clausen started. Clausen threw a big interception which set up a touchdown, and then they decided to go with Ainge, but Ainge may have made a mistake right here.
Before the ball was snapped, ball start, offense, number 70, 5-yard penalty, Still first down.
No, it was Cody Douglas. I thought it might be a delay of the game because he was checking off and moving around quite a bit, but it was Cody Douglas who moved the right guard. As you see, a pretty definite move. Almost backed into Sevierville, Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, you were right on the right track, Bob, because even without that penalty, they were on their way to a delay of game.
I think it was right there on the second mark at least. It's time to go to Foster, and he slides outside right tackle, but not much there. Carolina closed it down rather quickly that time. Arian Foster hit by Joseph, and not much working area for him there. The 11th play of the drive. Carolina, if you just joined us, scored after an intercepted pass at the 19-yard line of Tennessee. And on a third down, Mitchell hit Rice in the end zone for a touchdown, and that's where we stand. Second down now at the 10-yard line. We're second and goal. After the penalty, here's a run right up the middle, and this time Arian Foster right at the goal line.
I think Tennessee's, again, they're going to adopt the same theory everybody else has. Carolina's vulnerable up the middle. Other than Stanley Doty, big number 55, they don't have another 300-pound tackle out there, and a lot of holes in the middle of that defensive line right now created by Tennessee.
So this is a third at the 1-yard line, third and goal at the 1-yard line. You can put the money on, I think, here on Arian Foster, and he jumps over the middle. He made it. Touchdown, Tennessee. You know what was impressive about that drive, folks, was the quarterback, Eric Ainge, who's had some problems this year. Let's face it, he's been a little shaky. He's been a lot shaky in some cases, but everybody knew he had the talent, Mike. He just needed that confidence, and I think that drive might have given him the confidence.
Well, certainly for the time being it did. He made a couple of key pass plays, and the rest was the Foster show, and you got to give credit to that Tennessee offensive line. They won the battles time and time again on that drive. As you see now, a Carolina player down. That might be Doty, which would be...
Can't see his number from here. We're trying to put the glasses on him and see it.
Doty would be 55. They're kind of surrounding the number right now. Yeah, that is Doty. You can tell by the size of those limbs. He's about 335, and that's the one guy they cannot afford to lose on the line.
Can't tell yet what the injury is. It apparently is to his, maybe something to his right knee or ankle, but he is coming off under his own power, so that is a good sign.
And he was involved on the tackle on Foster. He was involved on the hit anyway. Foster diving into the end zone, and Doty might have come down a little bit awkwardly, but he appears to be okay.
Looks like he has a good chance of coming back into this ball game. Now we'll have the try for the extra point as Tennessee will attempt to tie this ball game. James Wilhoit will be kicking the extra point. Casey Woods will be holding. Although he's the son of Sparky Woods, coach in the Southeastern Conference. The kick is up there and good. And it's a 7-7 ball game here in Rocky Top. 2 minutes and 43 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play. South Carolina and Tennessee hooked up in a beauty so far. Couldn't be a better night for football. We're in the low 50s. There is no wind at all to speak of, not a factor at all in this ball game. No threat of any rain, and it's Halloween weekend. So we expect everything to be pulled out, all of the stops here tonight. Tennessee and Carolina both need a win. Let's face it, they both have lost some very tough ball games this year, and they both need a win. The Gamecocks head to Fayetteville next Saturday to take on SEC foe Arkansas. Catch highlights from today's matchup and preview South Carolina's showdown with the Razorbacks on the Steve Spurrier Show, Sunday at 3 only on CSS. Carlos Thomas and Noah Whiteside are deep. And of course, James Wilhoit who just kicked the extra point to tie this ball game, will be kicking off for Tennessee. His opening kickoff tonight went all the way through and out of the end zone. Tennessee goes to Notre Dame next week. South Carolina to Arkansas. Here's another boomer, and this one's going to be also out of the end zone.
Bob, let's take a look at those 2 touchdowns back to back. First, Blake Mitchell threading the needle here over the linebacker Gaither and in front of the secondary for the first score. And then Tennessee storming right back on a long drive of their own, and the diving touchdown by Foster.
Tennessee's scoring drive, 12 plays, 72 yards, and it consumed over 5 minutes. With Foster diving in and Eric Ames directing the action at quarterback. Now we go to Carolina on offense with Mitchell back. Gives to his tailback. Out to the 20-yard line, or 21-yard line maybe, and that's about all. 1-yard pickup that time. Jason Mitchell made the stop from his linebacker position for Tennessee. We're still in the first quarter here in Knoxville. Spurrier looking over his play list there.
He's going to have to find a lot of pass plays because I'm not sure you're going to see a whole lot of great runs against that man's defense. John Chavis.
Mitchell being rushed and had the ball blocked and knocked out of his hands. And just as it left his hand, knocked away. Harris Harrelson. Tony McDaniel may have been in on the action here too. Let's take another look.
Carolina looking to go to the flat again, but I mean, there's just no chance to get that ball off. Blake Mitchell sees 2 jerseys right in his face the moment he cocks his arm back. Offensive line just getting beaten on that one once again.
Harris Harrelson is having a terrific year for Tennessee. He's one of the captains of this team out of the state of Mississippi, and he has really shown his leadership on the field. Brings up a 3rd and 9 situation. 1 for 3 on 3rd down for Carolina. Mitchell stands up and gets knocked down. Immediately crushed. There's a flag on the play. So let's hold everything. Turk McBride, I think, led the brigade that time for Tennessee.
There's no play before the snap. Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Well, they work out about the same.
Well, I think Carolina will gladly take the 5 yards here without the loss of down. But you know, this is another case where Tennessee's defensive line just too good. Turk McBride absolutely knifing right through there, and Mitchell has no time. That was a quick drop for Mitchell, and he still had no time. Right now, he looks a little bit dazed out there.
Let's see. Here is Mitchell looking at a 3rd and 15 situation, and seems to be a little confusion as he maybe is checking off. He throws long, and it's going to be knocked down incomplete. Tennessee defensively that time all over that one. Inky Johnson, who continues to play very well here in the first quarter tonight. Noah Whiteside was the intended receiver.
They're going to try to find Noah Whiteside here, streaking down the sideline. Bit of a corner route, kind of a skinny corner route, but the coverage is too good. Noah Whiteside, not a very tall receiver either. He can't jump up there and get it like the Sidney Rice might.
Josh Brown will stand inside his 5-yard line to put it on the move as they have all night. And it's going to be downed. This time Tennessee did not let it roll and downed it. Austin Rogers, a redshirt freshman.
That's a smart play. It's the first time I've seen an opponent do that against Carolina. That's not a smart play. Offsides on Tennessee.
26 yards on the punt. We're getting late.
Defense, number 12, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Minute 45 left in the quarter. There's the officiating crew working here tonight. Southeastern Conference crew, of course. Jeff Robertson is the referee.
Well, I was saying earlier, Bob, the reason why that's such a smart play for Tennessee, you don't get anything on the return, but if you let that bounce, every time Brown gets one of those rugby kicks off, it always bounces away from the defender.
This time it's a straight ahead kick, normal kicking style, and Tennessee is going to let it bounce around, and it'll finally die around the 46-yard line. 34 yards on the kick, so Tennessee takes over in pretty good field position. As we get late in the first quarter, South Carolina and Tennessee locked up 7-7 here at Neyland Stadium. We'll get the official attendance later tonight, but it should be in that neighborhood of 105, 106,000. It's a pretty good gathering here in East Tennessee. Ainge comes back out at quarterback. Arian Foster is the tailback. They got two receivers set out this time. One comes in motion, and they give it off to the motion man. Around on the reverse, and down the sidelines goes Lucas Taylor, the burning freshman. Joe Simpson ran him down, but the yardage was there, 18 yards before he's finally brought to the ground.
Pretty good looking speed here by Taylor. And it's the second time that Tennessee has run kind of a play where they're trying to get out into that right flat, and Carolina late reacting to it.
Tennessee almost looking Spurrier-like on that one, that play call. Ainge gets off to his tailback. Good hole on the right side. Big yardage down to about the 21-yard line. Great run by Arian Foster, who's looking tremendous here, replacing the injured Gerald Riggs. David Holbert got a key block in from fullback. It covered 16 yards. Another look.
Well, you know, Foster's, again, look at the real estate near the right tackle there for him to get out all the way into the linebacking core in the secondary, and Foster already averaging nearly 5 yards per carry.
Now, Holbert was in on the last series. That was actually Corey Anderson at fullback, all 275 pounds of it, making the block there. Straight ahead run. Good for about 3. For Marquis Hall made the stop of Arian Foster.
You know, I'd be surprised, Bob, if Tennessee tries a whole lot of risky passes in the air if they can keep running the football like this. And right now, they are having their way. This is a pretty good job from Carolina defensively. You got Marquis Hall stuffing that run for Foster.
Two receivers, they're both set to the left. And Ainge throws it out there, flag down, and that fooled no one from Carolina. They were all over that. C.J. Payton caught it and got dropped in his tracks. But we have a flag down, so we'll have to wait and see what the official ruling is here. It is motion against Tennessee. How many times have they been called for that this year?
Illegal formation. Not enough players on the line on the offense. Penalty is declined. Third down.
Third down.
It's been a penalty we've seen a lot of in college football as a whole lately. Teams failing to have 7 men on the line of scrimmage.
Don't think we're going to get off another play. The clock's going to tick down to end this quarter here in Knoxville. End of the first quarter at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. The South Carolina Gamecocks 7, the Tennessee Volunteers 7. You're watching the action, and we're glad you are on CSS, your source for sports throughout the Southeast. There's the story as we go to quarter number 2 here in Knoxville. 7-7, South Carolina and Tennessee. Hannon, Meacham, and Payton are in at receiver right now for Tennessee. And it's a big down, third down. Ainge is looking at it, driving in the end zone. Got him out of the end zone. Jason Swain was there. The pass was there. Just that foot was out of bounds by about a foot. This may be reviewable.
Yeah, it's real close. I'll tell you what, at first glance, I thought he had it. We take another look here. Joseph beat on the coverage, and nope, he's out of bounds. Give credit to the field judge there. That's a great call.
Leave that 1 foot in there. James Wilhoit will attempt now a field goal. This will be spotted at the 27, making it a 37-yard, 38-yard effort. And it's up there, and it is good. So Wilhoit puts Tennessee on top of the 38-yard field goal to make it a 10-7 ball game. But Tennessee missed a touchdown there by literally a couple of inches. Catch back-to-back college football replays Tuesday on CSS. The 4th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs take on number 18 Florida at 7, followed at 9 by an ACC matchup between Clemson and Georgia Tech. College football is on CSS, your source for Southeast sports. There's Gerald Riggs. The next time we see Gerald in a uniform will be on a Sunday afternoon. He will play in the NFL, but no more at the University of Tennessee due to the injury suffered against Alabama. The drive, 6 plays, 32 yards, capped off by a 38-yard field goal.
Tell you what, Bob, injuries have plagued the SEC this year. Tyrone Prothro at Alabama. Carolina coming off the Savell Newton injury. Kentucky's had a ton of them. As you take a look at the first quarter stats.
Tennessee was 6-2 in the first down department, 9-5 in the time of possession, which is a very big one. Carlos Thomas and Joseph. Jonathan Joseph for deep. Both of Wilhoit's kicks tonight, he's kicked off twice, have been out of the end zone. He's kicking the other direction. Let's see if it has a factor in his kickoff. This one's going to go to the 1-yard line. Up to the 10, 20. Still on his feet, almost to the 30-yard line goes Thomas, and a flag comes down. And is there a fumble in there?
They're saying Tennessee ball.
Tennessee's football is what everybody is saying.
This one might be reviewed too because he hit the ground hard and the ball squirted out. I'm not sure if he lost control before or not, but would love to get another look at this one as Thomas is down hard. He tries to leap for some extra yardage here, comes down really hard. And he might have lost it before.
I think he lost it about a
hit
foot
the ground.
Yeah.
That's a huge turnover. And to add insult to injury, Thomas is injured on the ground. As you take another look, just kind of dives and his body started twisting, and when that happened, the ball squirted out there at the last second before his knee hits the ground.
Corey Campbell came up with it.
Now this is one the SEC I'm sure will look at. You've got the DV Sport crew upstairs here close to us, and they'll take a look at it, but very few plays the last few weeks have been reversed in the Southeastern Conference.
I think I heard the stat today, Mike, that there have been 30 reviews and only eight have been reversed. Now that was before all the action today. We may have had 3 or 4 more today around the league, but that speaks pretty well for the officiating in this conference.
Well, either it speaks well for them or it speaks poorly of the review officials who don't want to overturn some calls. I've noticed throughout some of the weeks that for whatever reasons, a lot of close calls do not even get reviewed, and that's something I think they need to work on through time. I think it's still a work in progress, but overall, I think instant replay can be a great thing in the SEC.
I'm not sure that they've asked for a review, but they're still working on the injured Gamecock, and that's the reason for the holdup in play right here. We've got 14 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the first half. It's Tennessee 10, South Carolina 7 on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Been an extensive timeout here due to an injury to Carlos Thomas on a return, which he fumbled, and Tennessee recovered. We don't speculate too much, Mike, on what it might be, but a lot of people have gathered around him, and all of the staff, medical staff from both Tennessee and Carolina, of course, are there. The trainers and the people who know what to do in this kind of a situation. So he will be taken, I'm sure, to a nearby hospital for x-rays. They seem to be immobilizing the neck and head. And those are the injuries that scare you the most, of course.
Yeah, and that's a large part of why we've had such a delay. They are instructed to be extremely careful and cautious anytime it is a neck injury or a head injury. They don't want to take any chances, especially getting him on the cart. And Thomas right now, you just hope, no matter who you're pulling for, that young man is okay. That's Dr. Guy right now. Looks like he's got the stethoscope underneath the jersey, just checking the heartbeat. You've got Dr. Guy, Dr. Rod Walters there in the red sweater to his right, keeping close tabs on him. And Carlos Thomas, a true freshman out of Georgia, a young man they've got high hopes for. He's played offense this year, he's played defense, and right there, the injury occurring on a special teams play, a kickoff return.
Well, I'm sure everybody in this stadium is saying a prayer right now for this young man and his family. And sincere hope that it is not too serious, but doesn't look very good right now. We'll take one more look at the replay and try to determine from this. It looks like he might have come down on his neck and head.
He's forced to leave his feet there. And when he does, I mean, you got to remember, he's running full speed when he leaves his feet.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's really hard to land without landing awkwardly, and his head just takes a lot of the blow when landing on the ground. You see, immediately puts his hands on his head. Clearly, that's the area that's hurting, and hopefully he'll be okay.
All right, Arian Foster at tailback gets the call and gets knocked down immediately, just shy of the 30-yard line. In fact, he may have lost a yard on that one.
Yeah, that was such a long delay. Sometimes you don't know how the teams are going to come out after a delay like that. And everybody obviously, that hits close to home when you see a player go down. Nice defensive surge there from the Carolina defensive line. That's DeAdrian Coley, who has picked up his play the last few weeks for the Gamecocks.
Second down, they're calling it 12, so he actually lost 2 on that one to about the 31-yard line. Ames stands up, looks, throws, and just throws it away. Jason Swain was in the neighborhood, but Swain saw Ames saw everybody covered, and that time did show some poise. There was a time earlier in the year where he might have tried to force it in there, and I think that's a good sign for the youngster right there that he knew his limitation on that one.
It's a smart play because he tried the pump and go, and Jonathan Joseph for Carolina never bit. So the play was covered all the way. No need to try to force one here. You're up 3 points.
Tennessee goes into a shotgun with 2 backs in for protection. Ames rolls, now throws, and threw it a little too high. Intended for Swain. Swain can jump pretty high, but not quite that high.
Gamecocks doing a good job of coverage again. Coach Simpson, the safety, helping over on that play. And really not a whole lot of room to squeeze that ball into. So Tennessee running the ball fine, but the Gamecocks doing a pretty good job in the secondary.
Ball will be spotted at the 38-yard line, making it a 48-yard effort. His longest this year has been 46. Kick is on the way, and it is just short. Kick no good. We've got 13:36 remaining in the first half here at Knoxville and Neyland Stadium. Tennessee Volunteers 10 and the South Carolina Gamecocks 7. We'll return with more action on CSS, your source for sports in the South. To the action, Carolina takes over after the Tennessee missed field goal. Mitchell throws, nice slant pattern. It's complete up to the 45 and the 46-yard line to Sidney Rice, who's hooked up with Mitchell for Carolina's touchdown earlier in this ball game. It covered 19 yards. So it's first down and 10 to go for South Carolina.
Third catch of the game for Rice, this time on a slant. Very hard to defend. and man coverage, and again he uses that 6'4" body to shield the defender.
Carolina lines up with 2 receivers at the bottom of your screen. Mitchell back, wants to throw, throws a little too high. Intended for Sidney Rice again, but way over his head. Incomplete. Stops the clock at 13:06.
Well, he had Rice open once more. That could have been another Mitchell to Rice hook up there. Just overshot his intended target. They ran trips to the left side and really had a couple guys open on the play.
Tennessee clinging to a 3-point lead. Had great field position after recovering a fumble, but couldn't convert. Carolina's defense stiffened and held. And now South Carolina on offense. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Mitchell. Flag goes down. Tennessee faking a blitz, or at least jumping up as if they were going to blitz, and Carson Haskins, tight end, may have moved, but the official will tell us exactly what happened.
Before the ball was snapped, ball start. Offense, left side of the offensive line. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
March off 5 against South Carolina. Make it a 2nd and 15 situation now. Steve Spurrier giving instructions. There are the penalties, each, well, dead even. 3 for 15, 3 for 15. Mitchell operates under center this time with 3 receivers set, 2 to the left. He drops, he looks, he's got time. He throws, it's complete. Across midfield and to the Tennessee 45-yard line goes Mike Davis. Coming out of the backfield. Kevin Simon, the middle linebacker, along with strong side linebacker Omar Gaither, made the stop.
Tell you what, Mike Davis has had himself a solid ball game, both running the football and doing this right here, catching the football out of the backfield. And here's the key, the yards after the catch. He picks up an additional 10 yards after making the catch. That's what you want a good running back to do, setting up a 3rd and short.
3rd down and about a yard to go. They run straight ahead. It's going to be close. I'm not sure he made it, according to the official coming in from the near sideline. Simon and Hall in on the stop that time for Tennessee, among others. It's going to be a 4th down and 1. What do they do, Mike? Will he go for it?
Oh yeah, Coach Spurrier in Tennessee territory, out of field goal range, no question about it. They're going to go for it. This has been a trouble spot. They have not been a good team on 4th down this year.
Tennessee's defense will dig in. And the handoff. It looks like he's got it with a yard or so to spare. Thurman from fullback, bulls ahead, 229-pounder, and gets the 1st down.
Dacus Thurman, he's their biggest, their toughest, most physical back. That's the guy you want to have the football on short yardage. Just kind of barrels right through. You see the numbers on Thurman for the year. Clearly the best average per carry, 4.7 on the year. A little bit banged up on that play. We'll see if he can get back in the game.
He needed a yard. He got 4. Mitchell got hit just as he threw the football. It's incomplete. No flags down. Jonathan Wade with tight but legal coverage on that one. It's remarkable how much Jonathan Wade has improved this season over last year. He was not a bad football player last year, but he's just in the right place at the right time. He's had 2 big interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown, another return to the 1-yard line. So he's having a good year. He is, of course, a track star at Tennessee.
Another case where Mitchell has to throw it under duress. Pressure, takes a hit, causing the throw to be wide.
2nd down and 10. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. And they hand it off. It's a double reverse here going for South Carolina. And it's going to be a nice pickup down inside the 40-yard line. Jonathan Hefney made the stop of Kenny McKinley.
The guy that makes this play for Carolina is not one of those big 300-pound offensive linemen. It's the quarterback, Blake Mitchell. You see McKinley on the reverse, He needs one block here, not even much of a block, just a little bit of a push by Mitchell. If Mitchell doesn't get that, that's going to be a big loss on the play. Instead, it's about a 5-yard gain.
So it brings up a big down for South Carolina's offense, Tennessee's defense. 3rd down and 6. 10:53 remaining in the second quarter. Tennessee up by 3, Carolina moving. 3 receivers set to the left. He looks left, he throws, it's incomplete. Chris Clark hit by Jonathan Wade again. Number 4 all over the field in that secondary for the Volunteers.
Blake Mitchell frustrated. Thought he had his man. Actually wanted some pass interference there. I'm a little surprised that they bring the punting unit out here. I wouldn't be surprised if they try a fake in this spot, but we'll see.
They're going to try a field goal of 53 yards.
His career long is only 45.
Actually, a little closer to 54. Not good. He had the distance, but not good. So Tennessee hangs on to a 3-point lead with 10:39 remaining here in the second quarter of play in Knoxville on a clear, crisp October evening in East Tennessee, foothills of the Smokies. Beautiful time to be in this part of the country as the leaves change. Tennessee head coach Philip Fulmer has never lost to South Carolina, but he is only 2-7 all time against Gamecock head coach Steve Spurrier. How will the Vols fare today? We'll get the latest Tennessee football news and highlights on the Phil Fulmer Show, Monday at 7, only on CSS. Ames remains the quarterback. David Yancey has come in at tailback now, giving Arian Foster a little bit of a relief. David Yancey, as we all know around these parts, is a walk-on at Tennessee, but has earned a scholarship. Great practice player and a pretty good tailback. Ames stands. There's the pickup. A little bit behind Corey Anderson, the fullback. Anderson will not spin around like some receivers because Anderson weighs almost 280 pounds.
Well, you take a look here, you're going to see Ainge just throw the ball behind him. The play is there, but the throw is not. And, you know, when you're talking about a big guy like that, you're not talking about...
You need to go between the 4 and the 5.
Exactly. You're not talking about a load of agility there. You got to throw it right between the numbers.
2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Keeps 2 backs in for protection. Got plenty of time and throws complete. Down to the 45-yard line to Robert Meacham. It's Meacham's 3rd catch of the night.
This is Meacham on a square in, just finding the hole in the zone. Carolina clearly playing zone coverage there. Meacham unaccounted for, and that almost looked too easy.
Picked up 17 yards on that one, so they're 1st and 10 at the South Carolina 45-yard line. Then a 3-receiver set with 2 at the bottom of your screen. Ainge may be checking off. He spoke to his backs and now is doing it for the 2nd time, so it's obviously a check off, and it checks off to a 1, which checks into about a yard and a half maybe. David Yancey carrying the football from tailback. Did not find much room there. Davis, Terrell Davis was one of the men who was first to arrive on the scene defensively. They give him a yard. There's the offensive coordinator, Randy Sanders. He's come under some criticism this year, but hey, what coach doesn't when you lose some ball games? Somebody's got to take the blame, and usually it's, you know what, the players. Here's Ainge looking, going in the crowd. Still fighting for yardage. David Yancey looked like he was dropped in his tracks, but he didn't believe his knee touched down, so he lunged forward for 2 or 3 more before Mike West landed on him. So I guess the official agrees with Yancey.
Well, this will be another play that they'll take a quick look at upstairs. Yancey tries to keep his footing. Yeah, that's a great job. He uses his elbow as a almost as an extra leg there to stay on on his two wheels. The knees never touched. That's a difference of about 5-6 yards with that play.
Third down and 7 to go for a first. Big down for Ainge. He throws behind the receiver who is tied up with the defender. Chris Hannon thought he should have had some pass interference there on Fred Bennett, but not so.
Gamecocks coming out of blitz there. Not a whole lot of time for Ainge to throw the football as we get another look. And a little bit of jockeying back and forth there.
I believe I might have dropped a flag on that one. But Tennessee did not protest vigorously, so I guess they say we agree with the official, or we're not going to argue about it. Colquitt is standing back on his 43-yard line. It's the kick away. It's a nice one. Tennessee has a chance to down it. They do at the 2-yard line. Ja'Cory Williams, a reserve tailback on the special teams, downed it. It covers 40 yards, but the important part for Tennessee is it landed or was downed on the 2-yard line. So South Carolina will take over with their back to the checkerboard. 7:49 to go before halftime intermission. Tennessee 10, South Carolina 7. You're watching CSS, which is your source for sports throughout the good old South. Back here in Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, South Carolina trailing Tennessee 10-7 and starting from their own 2-yard line after Tennessee down to punt. The give is to the tailback. He got maybe a yard, 2 yards, maybe 3. Tony McDaniel made the stop that time. Sherman got out with a little breathing room that time. Only giving up 89 rushing yards per game in the SEC, and that's 6th in the NCAA. So it is indeed a big orange crush this year for Tennessee. 26 yards rushing tonight, Carolina. It's a 2nd down and about 5 yards to go for a first. They try a little delay. Tennessee's waiting for it. Tony McDaniel all over Turman that time. McDaniel having a good night. He's been in on several big plays tonight. He's having a good year. -3 on this one.
Carolina trying kind of the element of surprise there. I think they were hoping Tennessee would be playing the pass, but even so, Tennessee's front 4 just continually beats Carolina up front.
There's the rushing. Carolina, as we said, 24. Tennessee's got 82. South Carolina now looking at a 3rd down and 8. 1 for 6 on 3rd downs. Mitchell's going to operate from his end zone. He got hit in the end zone, got the pass away, though, or did he? No. They say he got hit in the end zone, officially downed, and it is a safety. Jason Hall for Tennessee. In on the tackle.
This is a killer right here. Not only do you give up 2 points, but you give up the ball. Mitchell thinks he's going to have some time in the pocket. The rush comes from the outside as Jabari Levy, the left tackle, is beaten.
Tried to get the ball away, but of course it was too late by this time. Now he's down.
Jason Hall just beating Levy. Nothing fancy about that. Hall beating Levy one-on-one, and Mitchell zoning in on that target down the field, but you got to be aware of where the pressure is coming from his blind side. And again, that's a huge play in this ball game.
The official attendance tonight, tickets sold 107,716. All 4 Tennessee home games this year have drawn over 107,000 fans. 6 minutes to play, 6 minutes 8 seconds in the first half as you look at the Tennessee bench. Now after the safety, and as Mike pointed out, not only do you give up 2, but you got to give up the football too. So that's what they choose to do, is kick from the 20 and use Ryan Suckett as the kicker, and Lance Taylor will stand deep. two freshmen will gather it in at the 19-yard line. Straight up the gut he comes across the 35 and just shy of the 40-yard line. Tennessee will take it over in pretty good field position.
Bob, if I can just pass along a couple of injury updates. Noah Whiteside had an ankle injury earlier. He will not return, so the Gamecocks are down to 3 wide receivers. And Carlos Thomas has been sent to the Tennessee Medical Center. And the positive note there, he is responsive right now, so we'll try to see what else we can find out.
Well, that is good news. That means the extremities, he's moving those, so that's good. Here's a handoff on the left side. Tennessee sliding outside, down to midfield, and across midfield goes Arian Foster. Redshirt tailback, redshirt freshman tailback. Got 15 yards. Made a good move, got a good block, and then got a lot of it on his own.
Right off left tackle. More of that lanes and holes and gaps and everything else that Tennessee could ask for in the running game. They're getting it from that offensive line.
Becomes a first down and 10 in Gamecock territory now for Tennessee. Ainge operating at quarterback. 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Moves his fullback in. It's a low snap, picks it up and has to just try to get something on his own, and there's nothing there, so he's going to drop it a couple of yards and be hit right on the 50-yard line, or just about on the 50. Ball's first safety, by the way, since November 23rd, 2002 at Vanderbilt. Hunter was tackled in the end zone that particular day.
There's a low snap. Not much Ainge can do about it there. Just got to pick it up. You know you're going to take a lick whenever you have that low snap.
Second down and 14. He throws complete to Swain. And Swain is hit at the 39. Correction, the 44-yard line, and driven back a yard or so, but his forward progress got into about the 44.
Yeah, speaking of licks, Jonathan Joseph going to put one on here. He jumped the route, saw it, reacted. Not a whole lot Tennessee receiver could do there.
And Swain's a big guy, so that was a heck of a tackle, really. 4:46 remaining in this first half of play. Tennessee clinging now to a 12-7 lead after the safety. Touchdown, a field goal, and a safety to account for their points. Ainge stands, throws in the flat, and nothing happening out there. C.J. Phaeton hit by Co Simpson, who smelled that one right from the beginning.
Boy, did he ever. They call him the Rover now. He was a free safety last year. They've called him a Rover in this defense. Freshman All-American out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. If you can believe it, this guy was a high school teammate of Jonathan Hefney. It's no wonder why they won the state title their senior year.
They were good friends starting at age 5, as I understand it, and remain good friends. In fact, we're in telephone conversation this week.
I'm sure there was a lot of talking back and forth.
Don't think they talked any trash, do you?
Oh, no, never.
Being rushed, got hit and knocked down, and there'll be a roughing the kicker penalty here. Tennessee recovered the ball down there. Apparently a South Carolina player turned it over, so Tennessee comes up with the football. It looks like Ryan Carl, the sophomore out of BGA in Franklin, Tennessee. 30 yards on it. Remember, there's a roughing the kicker penalty back here, but Tennessee would refuse that.
Rough the kicker. Not on the. That penalty is declined.
Well, referee having a little trouble with his mic, but you had a roughing the kicker penalty, which Tennessee declined because they recovered the football when South Carolina mishandled it. So Tennessee got away with one there. They had great field position, unable to move the football after Carolina kicked to them after the safety, and then they punt and now come up with a loose ball, and they're still in business.
Yeah, that is a double whammy. Clearly a roughing the kicker penalty, which would have been bad enough.
Outside, they're trying to come, and finally driven out of bounds. Dustin Lindsey drove Eric Ainge out of bounds. Haynes showed a little more speed than I thought he had that time. Of course, he was running for his life on that particular play.
Just to finish off that special teams play, then the fumble by the return man, McKinley. You know, Carolina does not have the margin of error that Tennessee does in this ball game, and to make these kind of mistakes, it's too big a hole to dig out of if you're not careful.
Haynes gives on a delay to his tailback. He spins inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. Arian Foster, who's back in at tailback now, hit by Lambert. Take another look at this one, Mike.
As Horace Lambert, 51, doing a good job of kind of snuffing this play out for Carolina. Lambert started now 4 consecutive weeks. Lambert out of Jacksonville, Florida.
3rd down and 1. Let's see what Randy Sanders has sent in from the sidelines. They're 3 of 8 on 3rd down. Wise move. Give it off to your best running back, who fumbles in the end zone. And let's see what happens. It may be South Carolina.
Yep.
Wow. Stoney Woodson made the stop. This may be reviewed, though.
Well, the original call was a touchback. We'll see if they change their mind here.
Touch the play review.
Okay, I believe if I can read lips there,
Yeah.
the original ruling on the field was a touchback, but they are going to review it. And the question's going to be whether or not he had control of the ball when he broke the plane. There's no question he fumbled it, but the question is when. And as we take another look here, a nice move on Coe Simpson, then he lunges forward, and we're going to need another angle at that, but that's awfully close.
I think he lost it just at the goal line, so he's across the goal line there, but is he in possession enough to be?
This will be the telling angle. Oh boy, it looks like it might start squirming loose just shy of the goal line. That's a very close call, and keep in mind
the play called off the field, the ball was fumbled in the field of play. It is a touchback.
Yeah, I was just about to say the only way they're going to reverse that call is if you could make a conclusive judgment.
Absolute certainty situation.
Absolute certainty, and I don't think there was going to be enough there to overturn that. So that's a big break for the Gamecocks. They've been kind of shooting themselves in the foot lately, and now Tennessee returns the favor.
Well, speaking of shooting themselves in the foot, Tennessee now has fumbled 3 times in the last 2 games inside the 10-yard line, and it looked like they had sure touchdowns. There's Mitchell handing off on the delay to his tailback. Good opening, big hole, nice gain. Flag down, though. Mike Davis carries out across the 35-yard line, but
this is going to be interesting. There were 2 flags right away, and then a late flag by the field judge, which came from about the 45-yard line, and it was after the ball carrier was down. So I think we're going to have 2 infractions here.
There are the play. Illegal offense. Not enough players on the line. First foul, late hit, 24 defense. We'll penalize both fouls. It'll be first hit.
well, bad microphone connection there on the field by the referee tonight, but not enough men on the line for South Carolina. Personal foul against Tennessee, and they'll mark off both of them.
Basically amounts to a 10-yard gain for Carolina, and just as important, an automatic first down because of the personal foul. So that's a big break for the Gamecocks.
Foul was by Antoine Stewart, the strong safety, number 24. So it's first down and 10. They hand that delay off to the tailback again. Tennessee is not figuring that one out at all, and Mike Davis burst through for another gain of 10 yards. Jonathan Wade out of the secondary, left cornerback, made the hit.
Mike Davis is having one of the better halves he's had in his young Gamecock career, and he's getting it between the tackles. This is an area that South Carolina has struggled to run the football, but they've gotten gotten a few plays to work their way between the tackles tonight.
And it's been an area where Tennessee's been extremely strong in, but they're giving up some big yardage in there. There's the pass in. It's low and complete. Got it right off the turf that time. Sidney Rice, who's having a nice night for South Carolina, came up with a reception. He scored their only touchdown on a 19-yard play from Mitchell earlier in this ball game, the first quarter.
This is great concentration. The throw is low. Rice gets down on his knees to scoop it in.
Ball is on the 47-yard line of Tennessee, where it is first down and 10. South Carolina moving with the football and not exactly happy with what's not there defensively this time, so they decide to call a timeout and go over and talk to the ball coach.
Well-forced turnovers the last 5 games, and you see the amount of points coming off those turnovers. We're trying to add some here.
UT has caused 2 turnovers inside South Carolina 30. No points. And complete pass down to the 40-yard line. There's a flag on the play, though. Jonathan Wade made the stop of Askins, but there is a flag.
I think you're going to have a hold on the right side of that Gamecock offensive line.
In fact, there are 2 flags down, so a couple of officials saw the infraction, whatever it might be.
Illegal. 2 men, 5-yard penalty. Replay first half.
I guess it's an illegal formation, I believe is what he was trying to say. Or 2 men in motion.
2 men in motion, illegal shift. That preceded the hold. They actually had to really 2 penalties on that play, and that's the kind of penalty that'll drive Steve Spurrier nuts. He wants to get the plays off. He wants to give that offense a chance.
46 seconds still, quite a bit of time to move downfield. And Mitchell rushed his pass, but he got it complete. And still on his feet, down to the sidelines, past the first down marker goes Turman. And in good position right here, 18-yard pickup. Still got 31 seconds to go, and of course the clock is stopped.
It's an excellent job by Dacus Turman. He is circled by orange jerseys, makes a nifty move there. Not only gets the extra yardage, the first down, but also gets out of bounds.
Comes off limping a bit right there. Carolina got time, 31 seconds, because they're hitting quick strikes. There's Mitchell throwing long. Tennessee's got it pretty well covered, but incomplete. Had his hands, the receiver had his hands on the football, Sidney Rice, and for a split second I thought he was going to make a miraculous catch right there.
Well, he had it in his hands. That is what's becoming a very common play for this offense. This is basically the jump ball, kind of an alley-oop. Throw it up high, single coverage, let him leap, and he's got good hands, but a good job of knocking it away.
Rashawn Fellows.
Rashawn Fellows, the Tennessee defensive back.
Rashawn's 6 foot. Sophomore, weighs about 185 pounds, and he had to use all of it that time, all 6 feet to get up there and knock it away. Here's Mitchell back throwing long. They're going in that same direction again, and same result, incomplete. Rashawn Fellows had Rice covered step for step on that one. That's one where you just hope your receiver can get 1/2 of a step on the defender, and he couldn't that time. Stops the clock with 17 seconds to go. Tennessee 12, South Carolina 7. First half, been an interesting ball game here. We've had a little bit of everything. We've had touchdown, field goal, safety, fumble in the end zone, everything. Spurrier and Fulmer, they've been at each other for a long time. Of course, first time meeting Steve since he's come to South Carolina. 3rd down and 10. There's a timeout called by South Carolina. Back to the action. It's a 3rd and 10. Carolina's 1 for 7 on 3rd downs tonight. Here's Mitchell. Got time. Throws long. Incomplete. Intercepted. Beautiful step in by Tennessee and intercepting the football all the way back to almost midfield goes Jonathan Hefney, who is from South Carolina. So a big play for Hefney. I don't know, the receiver might have broke the wrong way, or there was some miscommunication there, I think, Mike.
Yeah, something was definitely off on this play because Blake Mitchell throws this in no man's land. There's nobody in a white jersey even close to this.
2 Tennessee guys there, but nobody in white, as Mike said.
I don't know if a receiver didn't run the route or Mitchell just made a terrible blunder. Either way, it's a huge mistake as Carolina takes itself out of a scoring opportunity. At least a field goal would have been nice for the Gamecocks at the half.
They were pretty close to field goal range, as a matter of fact, so it's 4 seconds on the clock.
Hey, did you know an SEC soccer player runs over 5 miles in one match?
Wow!
A softball team does over 1,000 loads of laundry a season.
Holy cow!
A football team's fans can eat over 40,000 hot dogs at one home game.
That's a lot of hot dogs.
There's more cool stuff to find out at seckids.com. Read about your favorite teams, play fun-filled games, and check out way cool stuff like how you can become an SEC champion.
This site's incredible.
seckids.com.
It's awesome.
Well, Tennessee's got time for 1 play. What do? Hail Mary? You just try to fling it up there. That's about all you can do with 4 seconds to go, and they're certainly not even close to field goal range. Ainge still fighting around, and oh my, he throws it out here. It's complete. There's a flag down, but that should end the first half unless it's, well, we'll see about the penalty situation. Arian Foster on the receiving end, holding against Tennessee. Dustin Lindsey made the stop. That's the end of the first half. Of course, Florida not interested in that penalty. So the first half ends here at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee on the 7. That's the way I do it. Let's take a look at the stats. In the first down department, they are dead even, 8 apiece. Rushing yardage, South Carolina 32, Tennessee 97. Carolina has the edge in passing, 100 yards to 61. You go down to the time of possession, Tennessee with a big edge. They had 17 plus to 12 plus for South Carolina. Tennessee's big stat, though, has been fumbles. Let's take a look at the highlights.
Well, it all started at the beginning of this game when it was actually Clausen starting this game and Jonathan Joseph picking off the pass there. That sets up the Mitchell touchdown pass to Sidney Rice, his 7th consecutive game with a touchdown reception. But then Tennessee would get it back. Some hard running up the middle by Foster, sets up himself for this 1-yard plunge into the end zone. And then defensively, Tennessee getting it from Jason Hall, beating Jabbar Levy on the edge and sacking Mitchell for the safety. And then McKinley fumbling the ensuing punt. And that would lead to another Tennessee score.
Kickoff in the end zone. Tennessee has to down it there. They'll pull it out to the 20 and put it in play. Here's the big stat, though, for Tennessee. In the last 6 quarters of play, 4 at Alabama and 2 here tonight against South Carolina, they have fumbled 3 times inside the 5, going in for a score, and 2 of them have resulted in touchbacks.
Yeah, it was kind of a sloppy first half at times, certainly defensive oriented. Not surprising that we've had a low-scoring half. We'll see if either one of these 2 teams can separate themselves from the other here in the second.
Tennessee's lost 1 offensive lineman. Rob Smith is out of there, questionable for the second half with a shoulder injury. Run off the left side that time by Arian Foster, picking up a couple of yards or so. Lance Lowry made the stop. 4 yards on the gain. Actually, they didn't. There's Tennessee's possessions in the first half. Missed opportunities not showing up there so much, but that's been the story right here. Tennessee with Eric Ainge still operating at quarterback. Clausen started the game, had the first series. Ainge came in after the first series, and he's gone all the way. This time Foster cuts out to his right, cuts back, and gets up to about the 30-yard line. Looks like he might have enough for a first down. Good hard running by Arian Foster. Terrell Davis made the stop. Tennessee also, it appears, has lost McBride on the defensive line for the second half in this ball game. He has an ankle injury.
And the thing I like about Foster, Bob, he's a little bit niftier than Riggs. Maybe not as big and as tough, but has done a good job tonight.
Hits the hole a little quicker, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely.
This time he dances a little bit and still gets some pretty good yardage out of it. Jordan Lindsay made the stop that time from defensive end. Take another look.
Again, he's got those quick feet. You know, he's waiting for the hole, but he's not waiting too long. And so far tonight, I mean, as you see the numbers, he's gotten the most out of his opportunities, and I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of worry about Arian Foster taking over the bulk load of the carries the rest of the year.
The worry is if he should be injured, then he gets himself some real serious problems. Still fighting for yardage up about the 37-yard line. Jordan Lindsay, correction, once again made the stop.
So even there, that play should have been a loss or no gain. It was really read pretty well by Carolina. They got good surge, but he did a nice job of finding the smallest of holes. Take another look here. I see Carolina reads this play all the way. See all the white jerseys there, but a cut back there, a little dance move there, and all of a sudden it's a gain on the play.
So it brings up a 3rd and 3. Tennessee needs 3 yards to keep it going. South Carolina wants to shut it down and force the punt. They give it to Foster. He cuts outside. He's got it. And he's still on his feet down the sidelines. Beautiful bit of running. Tell you what, this youngster, redshirt freshman, is looking awfully good. 6'1", 211 pounds. And has got some very good feet. That's, Mike, you pointed that out. That's a good point because I think his footwork is tremendous.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that you can't teach. I mean, the footwork is the stuff that's real hard to teach. Natural instincts. I mean, he's a good-looking back. He's only going to get better with time. I think they've got another good running back at Tennessee.
He's going over the 100-yard mark now.
21 carries, 118 yards.
Ainge wants to throw long. It's going to be a jump ball situation, and it's incomplete. Robert Meacham was the intended receiver, and Jonathan Joseph was step for step with him all the way.
Well, again, no knock on Eric Ainge, but I think Carolina would rather see this than Tennessee running the football right now with Foster because they can defend this pretty well. Joseph has done a good job tonight. He had the interception earlier in this game. Fred Bennett has been in on some plays. You got Coach Simpson. I think Carolina can stop Tennessee from passing it, but I don't know if they can stop the Tennessee ground game.
Here comes a 2nd down and 10 to go. Let's see what Randy Sanders is called here. David Yancey has come in at tailback. They fake it to him, and they throw out here in the flat. It's complete for Robert Meacham, and he's got nowhere to go after the catch. So it's going to be well short. Yancey spelling Foster, who's been a workhorse here tonight. Looks like Foster might be coming back in, though, on this play. Tennessee and South Carolina, both out of the Southeastern Conference Eastern Division. Both have lost some tough, close games this year, and they're trying to right the ship here in the second half of the season, both of them. Ainge throws way over the head of the intended receiver, Brett Smith. Ainge has got a great arm, and that time too much arm, quite a bit too much arm.
And again, Carolina forcing a punt. This hasn't been a great defensive game for the Gamecocks. Good pressure here, but they've done just enough when they've needed to kind of put Tennessee drives to a halt. And I still can't understand why Tennessee would throw on 1st down the way they've been running the football.
Good point. Here is Colquitt back to kick, standing at his 43-yard line. Milton Colquitt. Whiteside and Joseph back in twin safeties, and it hits the 1-yard line and bounces back to the 2-yard line, and Tennessee, that's what you call a nice backspin right there. If you're a golfer, you will love that one. Omar Gaither all over it, 39 yards, but distance is not that important here as position. Carolina starting out in a hole after Tennessee down the punt on the 3-yard line. 1st down and 10 to go for South Carolina at that point. Off in the checkerboard, they got out of the hole and up to almost the 10-yard line. Nice run that time by the tailback, who just got some of it on his own, Mike Davis. Jonathan Hepney out of the secondary made the stop. 6-yard pickup. And the Gamecocks' possessions and what they did in the first half.
Too many punts for Steve Spurrier's mind, and the interception and the safety really the difference in this ball game thus far.
Surprisingly, perhaps to some in this crowd, most in this crowd, Carolina's been able to move the football a little bit on the ground against Tennessee. Not this time, though. There's the Tennessee defense. Kevin Simon and Justin Harrell all over this one as Davis goes down after not being able to find a hole on the right side. He lost about 3.
Well, you said it exactly, Bob. Just no hole there on the right side and nowhere to go. Just a couple of big orange jerseys staring Mike Davis in the face. And again, it's going to be a third. It seems like Carolina's had a ton of these. 3rd and 5. Another passing situation.
Let's see if Tennessee brings them on this one, or if they sit back and play it a little softer. They're going to sit back, and they paid the price for it because it's a completed pass that time. Nice to the receiver McKinley, and Quan Stewart made the stop. But he's going to move the chains.
It's a great catch by McKinley. Looked like the ball was a little bit behind him. See, he's got a twist to the right. And you know when you do that, you're going to take a strong hit. See, twisting back, fingertip catch, and a nice job by Kenny McKinley, another freshman.
Quick drop and a quick release that time by the quarterback, which makes it very hard to defend. This time he hands off on the delay to his tailback. Tennessee waiting for that one, a loss of yardage. Mike Davis goes down. Again, it's Tony McDaniel, who's had a good night. 6'7", 295-pound junior. Played extremely well. Lost 3. We're still fairly early in the 3rd quarter. 9:22 to go. Tennessee leading South Carolina 12-7 here at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Tennessee goes on the road to Notre Dame next week, and South Carolina travels to Fayetteville, Arkansas. 2 receivers to the left. Tennessee jumps, and it may have caused South Carolina to move. Now the question is, which side do you penalize? Did they cause Carolina to move? We'll just wait for the official word.
Before the ball was snapped. False start. Offense, number 54. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Left guard jumped that time, and so it cost Carolina 5. St. Pro makes it a 2nd down, and coupled with the loss prior to that, about 18 yards to go for a 1st down. But in situations like this, Carolina's had a little success throwing the football, so we'll see what the ball coach has up his sleeve. Once again, all kinds of movement down there, and once again, we're going to have a penalty on somebody there. Spurrier, is he upset or what?
Sloppiness. Yeah, that's something he won't tolerate.
Before the ball was snapped. False start. Offense, number 55. Half the distance to the goal. Still 2nd down.
So Thomas Coleman here, the right guard's going to see that shift early, and that causes the right tackle to go along with him. So one false start for the left guard, and another one for the right guard.
That brings up a 2nd down and 22. And off, coming out of the end zone with the football up to about the 6-yard line is the tailback. Mike Davis. Antoine Stewart out of the secondary came up to make the stop, but still a mile to go for a 1st down. Got about 3 yards. Needed 18 or so. Spurrier, of course, is the type coach will throw from anywhere on the field. Pretty wide open. So I think we can expect the air game right here. 3rd and 18. They've got 3 receivers on the right, 1 to the left, and operate out of the shotgun. Mitchell got pressure, got knocked down at the 1-yard line. The ball is picked up after it's being dropped. It's out to the 5-yard line. Nashawn Goddard. Real messy looking play.
A heads-up play by Goddard to save what could have been a touchdown there for Tennessee. I can't believe Tennessee didn't recover that, but we'll take another look. And you know, Blake Mitchell's, he's getting too comfortable in the pocket here. You've got to know you don't have this much time, and that's 94 Jason Hall again, the guy that had the safety, and he almost had another safety. Mitchell with another look. You know, he's zoning in on his target on one receiver down the field, allowing Tennessee to get in on it.
Tennessee covers the punt after a pretty short punt. In fact, they're going to have the ball in real good field position. Only covered 33 yards. And Austin Rogers is the man who's done that for the second time tonight. Tennessee takes over on the South Carolina 38-yard line after a 33-yard punt from the end zone. Carolina kicking out of their own end zone. Tennessee leading by a score of 12-7, so they're in great field position. But they have been there before tonight and have not capitalized that much on those great positions. Here's Ames taking to his left and rolling to his right and throwing to the end zone. This should be, Chris Hannon had it right there, right on the fingertips. Incomplete. Kind of story of Tennessee's offense so far this year, those missed opportunities.
One of the few times where a Tennessee receiver, in this case Hannon, gets behind the Carolina secondary and he's got his man beat. That's Fred Bennett. That could have very well been a touchdown.
Should have been, but it wasn't. And now Ainge perhaps checking off at the line of scrimmage, realigning his men. He's got two receivers to his right, one to his left. He rolls and throws. He's got a man. This time it was not a good pass. Jason Swain on a slant had a step on the defender, but he delivered it a little too hard and wide. Low octane offense, 113 points so far in 2005, the lowest in the Philip Fulmer era. And what a lot of people are saying is, man, have we wasted a great defense this year.
Still have Kentucky and Vanderbilt left though.
Yep, and Memphis and Notre Dame. And that'll round it out. Ames got hit just as he threw it. Took a little too much time. I thought he was pretty good shape right there, but Lambert got a hand in there and deflected it. And again, Tennessee wastes a golden opportunity pretty deep into South Carolina territory. Just couldn't do anything. So
Horace Lambert coming on a stunt, going from the outside to the inside, getting the pressure right up the middle on Ainge.
Colquitt, who's
sideline warning. First warning, South Carolina.
Sideline warning for South Carolina. That can mean many things. Players crowding the sideline a little too much. Somebody's saying something over there. Colquitt has landed 2 inside the 5 tonight. Carolina's got 2 men back to receive, and he gets his kick away. He's trying to nail another one down there, and he may have done it. Great effort by Tennessee to save it from going into the end zone. It was Ja'Cory Williams, and twice he has done that tonight. 36 yards on the punt, but position again the important thing.
And Bob, this will be the 3rd time that the Gamecocks will have to start a drive from within their own 5-yard line.
Carolina 7, both offenses very inept here tonight. Tennessee has had just a ton of opportunities here in the second half already and have not been able to capitalize, not even on a field goal. So we'll see how it goes. Tennessee came in favored by about 14 points. But there was some question among people who were a little sarcastic, I guess. Would Tennessee be able to score 14 points? So,
I'm not sure if either one of these teams are going to get to 14 tonight.
Not either. Mitchell taking his time on a long count, throws out of the end zone and has to hurry his throw, and it's short. He got hit in the back of the end zone. Tennessee helps him up. Xavier Mitchell and Jesse Mahalona were back there defensively for Tennessee.
Mahalona's been a little bit quiet tonight, one of the better linemen in the Southeastern Conference. But again, look at what Blake Mitchell sees. I mean, that is a runaway orange jersey express, and he barely gets that throw off.
Brings up a 2nd down and 10 with their backs to the goal line. 3-yard line. 3rd quarter of play. Hand off to the tailback, and there's nothing there. Tennessee's got about 22 men hitting him that time, led by Jesse Mahalona. You're right, Big Jesse just sort of came to life on the last 2 plays. He's been very quiet. I don't know that we've even called his name up until the last couple of plays.
We've had a lot of Harrelson and a lot of Jason Hall, but eventually Mahalona, he's too good to keep quiet all night long. And that Tennessee defensive line, I don't think there's a better one in the SEC. I'm not sure if there's a better one in America.
5:20 and the clock running in the 3rd quarter. Tennessee up 12-7. Here comes a big 3rd and 10. Mitchell's going to try to throw out of there. He throws it across the middle. It's going to be short of the 1st down as Tennessee gang tackles led by Omar Gaither. Mike Davis was nowhere to go that time. Too many orange shirts in his face.
Yeah, just a field position play there. Try to give the punter a little bit of room. Spurrier does not want a turnover in this situation. It is still a 1-possession game.
There's Gaither's numbers on the year. 33 solos, 13 assists. So he's had a very good year. All 3 Tennessee linebackers have played very well. Lucas Taylor is standing back, the freshman, on about his 33-yard line. South Carolina's going to have to punt from the back of that end zone. So again, Tennessee could be in great shape, but what do they do with it? He got his kick away, and it's a nice one. Tennessee fields it for no gain. There's a flag back at the 6-yard line. 2 flags. 1 on each side of the field. So we've got some kind of an infraction here. It's against South Carolina, I believe. Let's see if Tennessee makes them kick it again.
Illegal formation. Offense. Not enough players on the line of scrimmage. That penalty is declined. 1st down.
It's only a 36-yard kick, so Tennessee's satisfied with that.
You know, you don't see that penalty very often on a punt. You'll see it a lot on offense where you have to have 7 on the line, but how could you not have 7 on the line in a punt formation? I don't know if I've seen that.
Maybe school officials should just expel all the offensive players here tonight. Just march them into class Monday and say, you're all expelled.
There's certainly a lot of detention and demerits being racked up tonight, that's for sure.
Tennessee takes over 1st and 10. Hand off to the tailback, and a little bit of yardage there for Foster. Not much. Stanley Doty made the stop.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, this game kind of favors Carolina, and they don't have, they don't have some of the weapons that Tennessee does. I know Tennessee has struggled on offense as well, but a low-scoring game on the road, this could play into Carolina's hands.
Well, they're less than a touchdown behind, and Tennessee's had golden opportunities just slip right away, and right now they're in the process of letting another one slip away because here they are coming up on a 3rd and 7 right now.
Tennessee has dominated field position, obviously, in this 3rd quarter, which is just a few minutes away from coming to a close, but they have not made the Gamecocks pay for it.
They've spent most of it in South Carolina territory, and not a point.
Right.
Not a single point out of it. 3rd and 7. Ames probably going to put it in the air here. Juggling it. Throws long, and it is incomplete. Josh Briscoe was the intended receiver, a freshman, 6'3", 174-pounder, just could not quite reach it. So once again, Tennessee will turn it over to South Carolina.
More good pressure. There's Lindsey delivering the hit. Ames had trouble with the snap and then tried the corner route, which was covered pretty well.
Colquitt will attempt for the 3rd time tonight to nail it inside the 5. That's asking a little too much of Colquitt, I think. At some point, he's going to have to say, hey, I keep kicking it down there and you do nothing with it. That's when he just says, the heck with it, let it go.
The official down there got plowed.
And he's down. He may be out.
I hope he's all right.
Oh, there's some movement there. I thought he might have been knocked unconscious, but
this is the hardest hit of the night, and the bad thing for the field judge is he never saw it coming.
Field judge is Richard Morales, who's the man down. It's a 40-yard kick. This will be brought out to the 20.
Back up.
Let's take a look at the replay here, Mike.
Well, again, he's got a job to do. He's got to see where this ball goes, and then wham! That is Jakari Williams just plows right into him, full speed, in pads, and
shook up Williams a little bit.
that hurts. There's the crowd reaction. I mean, you don't see that happen very often. You see the umpires get clocked all the time, but rarely will a field judge or a line judge along the sideline take a hit.
So there's a timeout here. There is an alternate, of course, always with the crews. And the alternate night is Penn Wagers, so I suspect we will see him in here working the rest of this ball game. Field judge is still down. 2 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in this, the third quarter. Tennessee clinging to a 12-7 lead. They've had enough opportunities if they just kicked field goals. If they didn't score touchdowns off of those opportunities, to be up by another 12 points at least. Tennessee goes to Notre Dame, then they're back home for Memphis, which is homecoming. Then Vanderbilt here in their final game of the year on the road. Williams. Richard Morales is the field judge, and he is probably going to have to leave the game. There's always, as we said, an alternate traveling with the crew, and Penn Wagers is that man who's in the alternate role tonight. Williams trying to cover a punt, and the field judge was looking straight up in the air at the punt as it came down, which landed in the end zone, and Williams didn't see him, and he didn't see Williams, so there was a collision. Williams actually shaken up a little bit on the play, but not seriously. He walked off.
What day of the week do you think that field judge thinks it is?
Probably Wednesday, about July the 12th, probably.
1969.
That's right.
Good to see that he is okay. I mean, those guys, you got to remember, the guys wearing those officials uniforms, no padding whatsoever. They are completely vulnerable, and at any time can get their bell rung.
You kind of forget what a dangerous position they're in on many plays, as a matter of fact. All right, it's first down and 10 to go. The ball brought out to the 20-yard line on the punt, which landed in the end zone. First down and 10 for South Carolina. Mitchell back to throw, throws in the flat, complete, incomplete, had it, dropped it. That time Mike Davis looked like he was going to gather it in. I think he tried to run before he got full control of the football. There's Mr. Spurrier looking on and actually showing quite a bit of poise here tonight. You would think both coaches on both sidelines would be jumping up and down and asking for tranquilizers about now, but they're both handling it pretty well. I guess they realize there's not much they can do but call the plays and see what happens.
He has had to develop a higher tolerance of patience this year with South Carolina.
Blake Mitchell's numbers on the night, pretty good, 11 of 24, and he's been rushed a lot. He's going to try to get out of this one, and he does get a little bit of breathing room for him there. McLaughlin and Jason Hall hitting. Another look at it from ground level.
Now again, Blake Mitchell looking for somebody open. Looked like he might have had the tight end on the right side there, but he was looking for Sidney Rice all the way, and Tennessee's done a pretty good job in this third quarter of covering Rice.
There's the third down situation, and nothing to write home about by either team. 2 of 11 for South Carolina, 4 of 13 for Tennessee. Mitchell will operate in the shotgun. He needs 7 yards for a first down. He's going to have to hurry it. He did. He got his first down, so there's a flag down, though. Flag is back in the backfield of South Carolina. Chris Clark was the receiver at that time. It's going to come back, probably a hold.
Holding, 78, offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay third down.
Jabari Levy got caught holding that time, and I'm kind of glad we couldn't read Spurrier's lips on that one.
Well, I think I read a couple of words, but I'm not sure if I can repeat them. This has not been a great day for Jabari Levy. Remember, he's the one that got beat on the safety earlier. That was a key first down for Carolina, but called back because of a holding penalty.
Late in the third quarter, Tennessee 12, South Carolina 7. Missed opportunities all over the place for both teams tonight, especially Tennessee here in the second half. They just keep blowing those chances. 3rd and 16. Pass in the flat. They try to pick up the yardage. It's going to be a big game, and it's going to be, I think, a first down or very close to it. Ball on the 11-yard line. Mitchell throws. Now they're going to try a throwback, and it is incomplete. Mike Davis, incomplete. Kenny McKinley threw it. Have you seen that play before this year, Mike?
Yeah, I've seen it before, and I've seen it before where Blake Mitchell was actually the receiver, and you know, this play was here. I don't know if somebody got a piece of it, but Mike Davis had this ball. It's a pretty good throw for a wide receiver. He leads him, and that's got to. If you're Mike Davis, you got to hold on to that football. I mean, that's the go-ahead in this game, and he let it get out of the hands.
Jason Mitchell is the defender there, but you're right, it probably should have been caught. Here's the pass in the flat this time to Rice. And he spins around, gets a yard maybe, and that's about it. Sidney Rice, once again, number 4, has been very active, as Mike pointed out here in the second half, or first half as well. Inky Johnson in defensively.
You know, we talk about Rice's size, his speed, his big playability, but we don't talk much about his hands. He's really got good hands. He just doesn't drop a whole lot of balls either. Might be cramping or limping a little bit there after that catch.
They got enough for a first down, which makes it 8 yards away from the goal line. 1st and 8, 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. Mitchell hands off. They crash the middle and go to the 5. Davis maybe a shade inside the 5-yard line before he is brought down. Jesse Mahalona leading the attack that time. South Carolina threatening to take the lead here.
This is as good a game as Mike Davis has had in quite some time. He's really been limited. Dacus Turman has gotten most of the carries here of late. 11 carries tonight, 43 yards. And Dacus Turman came up hobbled earlier in the first half, so it might be the Mike Davis show the rest of the way.
A very concerned Johnny Chavis, who is from South Carolina, so you know he doesn't want to lose this ball game. Mitchell dropping on a throw, a fade pattern in the corner of the end zone, incomplete. Flag, which is back here on the right side of the play at about the 6-yard line.
It's going to be another pre-snap penalty on Carolina.
But there's flag down on the far side of the field as well. There you see the yellow linen. Stops the clock here with 12:05 to go in this contest, which has left this crowd breathless.
Illegal formation offense. Not enough players on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay the down.
You know, Bob, I said this earlier in the year. If you could take stock in a penalty over the last few years, if you invested in not enough men on the line of scrimmage, you'd have a lot of money right now, because that has gone up about 300% the last 5 years of college football.
You know, you even see it some in the NFL.
Yep, absolutely.
Ball is pulled back to the 10-yard line, makes it 2nd and goal at the 10. Mitchell operates in the shotgun. He's got pressure, but he got outside the pressure. He's down to the 5-yard line before he is knocked down. Showing a little speed that time. Rashawn Fellows finally ran him down, but he got 5 yards on it.
Steve Spurrier holding his breath on that. They don't have anybody really to back up Blake Mitchell right now. Their backup quarterback is out for the season. He got hurt last week. Mitchell, again, runs pretty well, but you don't want him taking too many hits.
Brings up a 3rd and...
Timeout, South Carolina.
3rd and goal at the 5.
First timeout of the second half.
South Carolina has taken a timeout here. So we'll take a timeout, but telling you the score is Tennessee 12, South Carolina 7, and you're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. 3rd down and 5 for South Carolina. I don't know if they're going to call another timeout here, I think.
Timeout, South Carolina. Second timeout of the second half.
So they've got only one timeout left. I don't know why they spent that one unless they just wanted to see what kind of defense Tennessee was set in. And well, I don't know what Spurrier would do here. If he doesn't score, would he go for a field goal, or would he'd still be 2 points shy? But would he do that? Another field goal, if you make one, would win it for you maybe. This was a big day right here in Knoxville because Peyton Manning's number was retired. Tennessee's retiring 3 this year. Reggie White, Peyton Manning, and here's Peyton. What a great quarterback. What a great round of applause he received. What an ovation. He did the ball walk today. And that was a really emotional thing to see. His parents were there. His wife was there. And they unveiled this plaque, which they've already unveiled one for Reggie White. So it will remain permanent here, meaning no one else will wear number 16. Rick Clausen has been wearing number 16. He did not tonight. He wore number 7. I don't know if he'll go back to that number, but after this season, it will never be worn again. Neither will 92. And of course, later, Doug Adkins at the Vanderbilt game will have his number retired. One of the all-time great defensive stars at Tennessee. Mitchell at quarterback. Drops, throws in the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown, Sidney Rice. Had to hesitate for a second, so did the official, because it was right on the line. But they ruled he was inbounds and a touchdown, and South Carolina has taken a 13-12 lead with the extra point coming up.
Well, you had to know it was going to go to Sidney Rice. This is a beautiful play, beautiful execution. Pump, look one way, throw it upstairs, and you know Sidney Rice is going to come away with it. You throw it in the air. That is now 11 touchdown receptions on the year, and that is a South Carolina Gamecock record.
They are probably going to go for 2. 13-12 is the score, so they would like to at least put a field goal between them and Tennessee right here. Mitchell being rushed and has just to drop the ball off because it was knocked out of his hands, and he had no chance to even throw it. Tennessee put a bull rush on him.
The passer's arm started forward. It's an incomplete pass. The try is no good.
So instead of a fumble, they ruled that his arm was going forward, so it's an incomplete pass. And Tennessee will still trail by 1 point, 13-12. And we've got 11:33 remaining in this ball game. So now Tennessee's offense, which has been totally inept here in the second half, and a good part of the first half for that matter, we will see what they can do with the football playing from behind. You're watching CSS, your source for sports throughout the southeastern part of the U.S. The chance to have 3 more years.
Yep.
If you're that good, maybe not.
Maybe not. Keep in mind, he missed the first game of the season. One of the guys that is in that record book was Sterling Sharp. He's going to break a lot of Sterling's records.
Here's the kickoff. Tennessee will catch it in the end zone and probably stay in there. Lucas Taylor, freshman, back there to receive the kickoff. And now Tennessee plays from behind. Let's see how they do. South Carolina did score first in this ball game. Gamecock scoring drive, 12 plays, 80 yards, 6:21 off the clock. That's a big factor right there, the 6:21. It was a long, sustained drive and ate up a lot of clock. There's Randy Sanders, who's in charge of the offense. They're bringing Clausen back on the field. He started this game, threw an interception on his third pass or third offensive play, and South Carolina immediately turned it into a 19-yard touchdown. They're going to run the football, and here is Foster out just shy of the 24-yard line. Co Simpson made the stop from strong safety. Oh my, there goes Foster off of the field, shaken up. So now you go to a walk-on. Yancey will come into the ball game now as the backup. Foster, I don't think is injured that badly. We may see him back. We'll just have to wait and see. There's the handoff as they run that tailback straight up the middle for a couple of yards. David Yancey, and again, strong safety. Co Simpson comes up to make the stop. Number 10, been very, very active in this ball game.
It's back-to-back tackles for Co Simpson, as you see Yancey right now, and Tennessee really needs Foster back in the game. He was making things happen when he was out there.
I think he just re-entered the ball game. Or it might be Ja'Cory Williams out there. Out of the shotgun, Clausen fires across the middle. It is complete to Swain, and he's out to the 40-yard line for a first down. He got 13 on that one, as a matter of fact. Jason Swain on the receiving end of the Clausen pass.
Give Tennessee credit, the offensive line giving just enough time for Clausen to complete this pass. Clausen was about to get popped back there in the pocket, and that one extra second enough to make the first down.
Good catch by Swain. He actually had to kind of reach back for it. On the move this time, Clausen throws. It's complete, short gain. Robert Meacham. 9:42 remaining. Quite a bit of time, and then on the other hand, the clock keeps ticking away right here, and South Carolina leading Tennessee 13-12.
Bob, I had a lot of people ask me what I thought about this game all week. I said take the under, and so far that's pretty much what we've got.
Good point. Tennessee lines up with two receivers right, one to the left, and hand it off to the tailback, who's got a big hole. Down into the 40, 35, and finally run out of bounds just shy of the 30-yard line. Wow. Great running by Arian Foster, and Co Simpson, for the umpteenth time tonight, made the tackle. Once again, he is shaken up on the play after gaining 23. Arian Foster.
It's a career high 25 carries, and his body might be feeling it right now. Looks like he's cramping up out there, and he is upset. It's going to be awfully hard for him to get back in the game. Again, a great run, but one of those legs, can't tell which one it is. Oh, might be the left knee on that particular run. Yeah.
They run straight ahead this time, go inside the 30 with the big fullback Corey Anderson carrying the football. Simpson again made the stop. Tennessee is really now out of running backs with any experience at all. Gerald Riggs, of course, is gone for the year. Foster now looks like he might have injured a knee or a leg. We'll just have to wait and see how serious that is, but they're down now to a walk-on, Yancey, who's a pretty good football player, but not near the runner that Foster is, or Riggs. And they already lost a freshman, remember, earlier in the year. They go straight up the gut again this time. Corey Anderson, now they've turned now to this 275-pound fullback to carry the load. They're working on Foster on the sidelines over there. I understand the official who was injured is back on the field, Morales, so that's good news. Tennessee in a running formation this time. They got one receiver set to the left, and that's where they're looking. Oh, my goodness. David Holbert, the fullback, was open and ready for a sizable gain, and it went right through his hands.
That would have been an automatic first down, and now Phil Fulmer going to have to go for the field goal. But you see, it's a well-executed play. Ball is right in the hands. No excuses.
This will be a 43-yard effort. Maybe a little closer to 44. Now let's call it 43. 33-yard line with the end zone. 43 yards for Will Hoyt. It's placed down. The kick is on the way. And it is good. Not a whole lot to spare on that one, but he got it through there. James Will Hoyt from Hendersonville, Tennessee. Of course, the biggest kick of his life was against the Florida Gators here last year on this field. 7:39 remaining in the ball game. Tennessee goes up 15-13. Who would have thought back in the summer when we talk about South Carolina and Tennessee, who would have thought you'd be seeing a 15-13 ball game with 7 minutes and a few seconds to go? But that's the case. Not that much offense, but pretty good defense. Tennessee 15, South Carolina 13. 7 minutes and 39 seconds to go in this ball game as Will Hoyt connects from 43. You're watching CSS, your source for sport in the Southeast. CSS and BC Powder. Here's the kick to the back of the end zone by Will Hoyt, and Joseph decides to keep it in there wisely. So South Carolina will put it in play at the 20-yard line. First down and 10. Still got 7 minutes and 39 seconds to go in a game that's far from being decided. Tennessee's drive, 9 plays, 54 yards, consumed 354, ended with a 43-yard field goal just barely over the crossbar by James Will Hoyt, but over the crossbar. So Tennessee leads by 2. Vols had some trouble corralling the Gamecocks passing game in the last series. Let's see what they do right here. Mitchell throwing the slant. It is complete. Nice gain by Kenny McKinley. I'm not sure Tennessee can stop that. 12 yards on the pickup.
That's another great catch by McKinley. Second time he's had to reach out with his hands. See that? And great concentration. Bobbled it a little, but never kept his eyes off the football. Always had it on. And Kenny McKinley just a true freshman.
It's a quick drop and a quick release, so you can't get much pressure on the quarterback. First down and 10 to go for South Carolina. Crowd trying to urge the Tennessee D on a little bit here. Mitchell throws. It's complete. They're completing pretty much at will here in the past few minutes. Chris Clark that time caught it near midfield, a couple of yards shy. 15-yard pickup.
There's Clark, a senior out of Lexington, South Carolina. He's their possession guy. Not the big play, not the home run guy. But when you need a big catch 10, 15 yards out, Chris Clark is going to get it for you.
Ball is on the South Carolina 48-yard line. First down and 10. Remember, they trail by only 2 points, so a field goal puts them back in the lead. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left, and out of the shotgun, Mitchell operates. Hands it off to his tailback, kind of delayed things right there. Got still about 4 yards out of it before Paris Harrelson came up to make the stop for Tennessee. Give him 3. Make it second down and 7 for South Carolina, but they have gotten into Tennessee territory now. Officially at the 49 of the Vols. Johnny Chavis, defensive coordinator, trying to figure out a way to stop South Carolina's movement right here. This time they've got 4 receivers in the pattern, 2 to the right, 2 to the left. And in the backfield by himself is the fullback. Mitchell turns around, says something to him and to the other lineman. And now they're going to have a delay of the game, perhaps.
Before the ball was snapped, delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Trying to change the play at the line of scrimmage, and he just took too much time delivering the message to his fullback, to his line and receivers, and looked like he actually delivered the message twice, so got caught with a delay, cost him 5, pulls it back to the 46-yard line of South Carolina. Makes it a second down and 12 in a penalty situation tonight. 54 yards for South Carolina. Mitchell got a world of time to throw, and he completes his pass down to the Tennessee 44-yard line. Demetrius Morley, a freshman out of Miami, made the stop of Chris Clark. Brings up a 3rd down and 2. So Tennessee kind of had him in a little bit of a hole right there and let him get away.
Don't be surprised if they go to a draw here. Spurrier likes to do that on 3rd and short. Either the draw or the pass way to Sidney Rice.
So it's a big down, 3rd and 2. They're not in field goal range, but a first down puts them pretty close. And there they are with a first down to the 34-yard line. Inky Johnson made the stop of McKinley.
Kenny McKinley, this is the Sidney Rice play, but it's being run by another wide receiver, another freshman, Kenny McKinley, on the quick slant. He's having a career day thus far, and Blake Mitchell putting the throw on the money.
Tennessee is leading by only 2 points, so a field goal puts Florida back in the lead, but they're thinking touchdown right here. And the way Tennessee's offense is played in the second half, a touchdown just about puts it out of reach. 4:29 remaining in the contest. The official steps in, blows his whistle, picks up the flag, and tells us
There's
what's
no
happening.
foul on the play. There were only 11 players in the huddle. First down.
Apparently they thought there were 12, and that didn't turn out to be the case. So no penalty. Makes it a 1st and 10 for Florida on the 34-yard line of Tennessee. Getting very close to field goal range. And the clock now ticking away. Snap to the shotgun. And Tennessee ready for this one. A running play that goes nowhere. Thurman hit in the backfield, as a matter of fact. Lost 4 or 5 yards.
Steve Spurrier trying to keep it mixed a little bit here. You can't pass on every down. This is to try to keep the defense honest. They don't expect to get a whole lot of yards with that play. Certainly would have liked more than they got. It's a loss. Expect them to throw here.
Jonathan Wade came up to make a pretty good play that time for Tennessee. So it's 2nd down and 15. They will go to the shotgun with a 4-receiver spread out there. Mitchell throws that slant, which has worked all night for South Carolina. It's to McKinley, and McKinley is down to about the 32-yard line, 33-yard line.
That is a career high now. 5 catches for McKinley. You know, they lost Newton last week, who was one of their better receivers. They've got a couple of receivers injured tonight, and so they've got to ask Kenny McKinley, the freshman, to step it up, and so far he has.
3 minutes and 5 seconds, and the clock ticking. Huge play. 3rd down and 8. Huge for both of them. Mitchell throws incomplete. Demetrius Morley, the freshman from South Florida, reached in and broke it up. So it becomes 4th down and 8. Another look.
They're trying to get Clark on the drag, and Tennessee just reads it all the way. Even if he makes that catch, he's got to get some more yards. He's a few yards short of it, and it looks like they're going to try another long field goal here.
This will be a 49-yard attempt by Josh Brown. All spotted on the 39, the end zone. 49-yard attempt. It's down. It's on the way. And it is good by about a foot. Wow.
Unbelievable. That's a new career long for Brown. 49 yards. Previous long was 45. And I mean, it barely clears the crossbar.
It does just get over, but it got over.
Perfect snap and hold, and
oh my goodness.
It doesn't get any closer than that.
He almost kissed the crossbar on that one. But Florida now takes a 16-15 lead, and there's only 2:45 remaining. It's Florida again. I'm sorry. South Carolina. I'm going to have to put Steve Spurrier back in Florida. I'm sorry about Urban Meyer down there, but you got to go.
I tell you what, if Carolina holds on to this lead, Tennessee fans will want to put them back.
That's right.
If not in Florida, in the NFL or anywhere but the SEC, this would be a monumental win for this program. They have not defeated Tennessee since 1992. There's been a lot of games like this in this series, but Tennessee always finds a way to win these close games down the stretch. We'll see if they can do it here.
Lucas Taylor will be back to receive. Ryan Suckup will be kicking off, and Tennessee's got 2 minutes and 45 seconds to try to pull this game out at home. They came in as a 2-touchdown favorite against South Carolina. But the offense tonight, as it has in most games this year, has just really struggled. 6-3 loss their last game out to Alabama. And tonight just really struggling all the way. Taylor takes it at the 10, looks for a crease, finds a little bit of one, gets across the 20 to the 21 or 2 yard line. Now let's see who Tennessee brings out at quarterback. South Carolina wins tonight. It means quite a few things. Like 3 straight conference wins, first time since 2002. First Gamecock win in Knoxville in 13 tries. First victory home or away over Tennessee since '92, and the first Fulmer loss ever to South Carolina.
It would be monumental, as I said, in more ways than one.
Rick Clausen is going to be the man. They put it in his hands to try to win this ball game. They're down by 1. He throws complete, and nowhere to go for the receiver. Finally pushed out of bounds. Robert Meacham, short gain.
Bob, one thing in Tennessee's favor, they do have all 3 timeouts remaining.
They're looking at a 2nd down and 7 right now. After this play, they'll be down to at least the 2-minute mark. Clausen gets a low snap, but stands up and throws, almost intercepted. Very poor throw by Clausen that time, threw it way too high. Robert Meacham was the intended receiver, and Carolina came very close to picking it off, and that would have sealed the deal had they done that.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Bob, but I think one Gamecock defender might have taken away the interception from another.
Possibly so.
By deflecting it. I think Coach Simpson had that ball right in his crosshairs, but somebody else tipped it away.
3rd downs. South Carolina 6 of 16. Tennessee 5 of 15. Well, here it comes. 3rd and 7. Clausen throws. Got his man. It looks like enough for a 1st down with 1 yard or 2 to spare. Complete to Brett Smith from Arkansas.
Now, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Just when you think Tennessee is dead and buried, they always come up with the key long, 3rd and long or 4th and long against South Carolina. They've been doing it for over a decade.
They're running out of time, though, now. And they go out of bounds right here. Corey Anderson stops the clock with 1 minute and 53 seconds to go. 5-yard pickup. Will Hoyt, the field goal kicker, is pacing the sidelines and hoping to get a chance, I guess. But Tennessee's got a ways to go before they can get in his range. 2nd and 5. They're on their own 40-yard line. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Got to throw it. They're out of tailbacks. Jason Swain had it in the tip of his hands there for a second, but couldn't bring it in. That would have been pretty close to field goal range, too. So it brings up a 3rd and 5.
His throw a little bit off the money. He's got to dive and
it would have
reach
been
for
an
that.
incredible catch.
Yeah, that's just inaccuracy right now for Clausen.
Minute 47. The clock stopped. 3rd down, 5. You got to think first down right here to keep it going. He throws out in the flat. Oh my goodness. Arian Foster, who is back in the game after being shaken up earlier, just couldn't bring it in.
Well, people are going to be mad at Foster on this one, but the throw is not very good.
No, it isn't.
You know, and Foster has to leap to try to make a one-handed catch, but Clausen has been inaccurate on this drive.
They took Ainge out of there, and there will be some real serious talk show fodder about that coming up this week. Should he have stayed? Should they brought Clausen back? Well, this comes down to this play, folks. 4th down and 5. If they don't make it, then South Carolina can kill the clock. And they didn't make it. South Carolina takes over with 1 minute and 37 seconds to go and should be able to ride it out. Brett Smith was the man they intended to hit, and Co Simpson hit him and shook the ball loose. So Spurrier is just a few ticks away from pulling out a big victory for South Carolina here on Tennessee soil. 1 minute 37 to go.
That is a great play by Co Simpson. Perfect timing to jar the ball loose. In South Carolina, a chance for history right here. We showed the graphic earlier. Tennessee has absolutely owned the Gamecocks in this rivalry.
Tennessee's only hope would be a fumble. They do have those timeouts, and they will start using them here. Justin Harrell made the stop that time.
Timeout, Tennessee. First timeout of the second half.
So they got 2 more timeouts to use here.
Well, Bob, if my math is right, with 2 more timeouts in 1 minute 31, Carolina's going to have to do something on 4th down. It's going to come down to 4th down. They can't just take a knee here and end this game. So, you know, this game is not over yet.
Minute 31, Tennessee trails by 1 point. South Carolina 16, Tennessee 15. Tennessee, oh man, they got a rough one coming up. They go on the road to Notre Dame next week. Tennessee's mistakes on 4th down when they could not convert. There's one.
That's Coach Simpson again. You can't defend that any better. If he gets there a couple seconds earlier, it's interference, but he times that perfectly.
Another one. And the reaction of Clausen. And the reaction of Philip Fulmer. 2nd down, 11 yards to go. The clock is the big factor now. 1 minute 31. Tennessee's got 2 timeouts remaining. They just used their first one of the second half. Here's a big run. This is going to be the killer right here because he got a first down, and that seals the deal. It should, with 1 minute 23 to go. Spurrier feels like, I'm sure now, that it's in the bag. Tennessee can do nothing now. They can call a couple of timeouts, which they will do, but still, after the 15-yard gain, it's all over. And there's a frustrated and very disgusted Philip Fulmer right now.
Now, I imagine the talk shows are going to be very entertaining this week in Knoxville.
Well, you live in a fishbowl, and people are going to look at you, you know.
Now, I tell you what, Coach Spurrier has brought a South Carolina team in here that nobody expected could win this game. 14-point underdogs, and this crowd, which was over 100,000 strong, has been silenced. And the Gamecock fans spread around various parts of Neyland Stadium. This is something they haven't ever experienced.
This is going to bring out as much adverse talk about Tennessee football as has been around here for a long, long time. Not just this loss, right? The losses they have suffered this season.
You know, I go back to the beginning of the game, and when a real quick hook to go from Clausen to Ainge and then Ainge back to Clausen. I just don't know if you can win a whole lot of games shuffling in quarterbacks in and out. That's been the criticism here for a while, and a little bit surprised that they did it. Neither guy got into a rhythm tonight for Tennessee.
Minute 23 seconds to go. It's just a matter of running out the clock now for South Carolina. And they'll go back to Columbia with a big victory for them tonight. Then they go on the road to play Arkansas. Tell you what, Arkansas has got some good-looking freshman running backs over there.
Timeout, Tennessee.
But that should be a heck of a
Timeout,
football game,
second
as a
half.
matter of fact. They look pretty evenly matched to me right now.
I think you're right, and that's another venue that South Carolina's had some trouble winning at over the years is Arkansas. Everybody says Arkansas is down, but I'll tell you one thing, they can run the football with just about anybody in this league. They're always tough to beat at home. They're getting better as time moves along. Houston Nutt, one of the finer coaches around, so that'll be a tough ball game, but this puts Carolina in prime position to reach a bowl game for the first time in 4 years, and not too many people would have guessed that could have happened with this team.
Tennessee is going to lose this football game, and it's going to be a surly crowd that leaves this stadium here tonight. There's Randy Sanders talking with Philip Fulmer, able to put only 15 points on the board here tonight. Only 15. Obviously, there's some serious problems with the Tennessee offense. The question is, how do you solve them? Probably this year, I'm sure you can solve them. But a good defensive football team, and they just have tried to hang on, and they couldn't win it by themselves. Takes a knee. Clock continues to run. A minute 9, minute 7. South Carolina and Steve Spurrier. Chance to really do some celebrating. There's some of the reaction from the crowd here tonight, which is probably well, very similar to the reaction of almost every Tennessee fan who's in this building tonight. 107,000. I'd say South Carolina's got at least 10,000 fans in here, close to it anyway. Brought a good contingent in here tonight, and they have got a lot to cheer about, and they will party on down in Knoxville tonight. 30 seconds, 27 seconds, and the clock ticks away, and that's it. Can't stop it, and the ball game is all over. A suffocating, serious loss for Tennessee. A huge, exciting win for South Carolina. There is a very disappointed Philip Fulmer. Can't quit, though. You got to chuck it up, because next week you got to go where Touchdown Jesus is located, and that is South Bend, Indiana. South Carolina will take this big win and travel to Fayetteville, Arkansas to take on the Hogs.